All right, hey, welcome to The Secret Is You. This is Chris Cicchinelli, and we are getting excited because we are literally just a couple days away from 2021. And as we're getting into a brand new year, I know this is something that a lot of people are starting to think about, a lot of people are starting to get ready for, and that is how do we run into 2021 with a brand new vision, brand new look, a brand new attitude that's kind of around this. But how do you, more importantly, kind of come in and think about how do you develop kind of a winning mindset for a brand new year? Now, you think about this. Nobody knew last year when we were going to get into it, into our, New Year's resolutions, all the things that we're going to do for 2020. Had all these different plans to travel. We had all these different plans that we wanted to hit for our teams, maybe for our business, whatever it might be for ourselves personally. And then, yes, a pandemic happened. Not just a pandemic that happened, maybe in Keokuk, Iowa, not just a pandemic that happened in, St. Louis, not just a pandemic that happened in Salt Lake City, but a pandemic that went worldwide. Not a lot of us had this kind of, update that this was coming. Nobody really was kind of prepared for this. And you sit back and you think about it, and we move into 2020, which is a whole nother year. Yes, we're going to have 2021 when we move into it and we sit back and go, okay, what do we really are getting ourselves ready and prepared for? Because yes, we're still kind of in the pandemic mode. Yes, we still have to be a little bit locked down. Yes, we still have some restrictions that are on dining, just restrictions about us getting together for Christmas, New Year's, all of these things that we have that are still in play. But here's the thing that we can do. We have pivoted, we have changed, we've adapted, and now we got to make sure that we are doing more, because as we're getting into a brand new year, people get fatigued. And when they get fatigued, they start getting attitude issues. They start thinking differently about some of the things that are going on. Some people, when they get fatigued, they give up. And here's what I want to make sure. The greatest difference maker in your life and how you're going to move forward is going to be with your attitude. The attitude is definitely going to be the key thing. I know a lot of people talk about this. I know people wrote books on it. I know people have done podcasts on it. But here's the thing. When you really, really get down to it, how we respond to difficult or negative circumstances will determine how far we will go in life. It's important. So many of us are living each day and we have things that are going to hinder us. Things that are going to get in our way. Your attitude can be something that's going to hinder you, something that's going to take you away from greatness. And we have to understand that we cannot, as business owners, as people that really want to gain more for them, for their families, whatever it might be, we can't have our attitude be our roadblock. So many people sit back as I'm doing end of the year reviews with leadership, with teams, with people like that. They keep saying, you know what, Chris, I wish I would have pivoted earlier. But I was, my attitude was just not in the right location. It wasn't in the right place. It wasn't there for me to grow. It wasn't there for me to develop. I was so scared of the unknown. And therefore, their attitudes were that of not being able to go out there and win what they needed to win, compete in what they needed to compete at. And that became a very big change. And we have to sit back and go, okay, what does our attitude come from? Where do we get these ideas? Why don't we all, think that we're all going to be glass overflowing? Why don't we all look for the best in our lives? Why don't we all look for the best in our businesses? Why don't we all want happiness and excitement and energy and thrill? It's because our attitude comes from different things. It comes from our home life. Maybe our home life. Maybe not everybody in the home is excited. Maybe not everybody in the home has a positive attitude. Maybe everybody in the home doesn't sit back and go, oh my gosh, my glass is overflowing. Most people, that's probably what happens at home. Maybe it's their background. Maybe it's like the way they were raised. I love the people that just like I was raised in a shitty environment, so I'm going to have a shitty attitude. Some of it could be your environment, right? Some people sit back and they think, I'll never get out of the environment that I'm at, right? And I'll never get there. But you have to understand, you cannot let people control your attitude. You just can't do it, because at the end of the day, your attitude affects everybody that you're around. Your attitude is something that you have to understand that is so important that if you want to develop any types of W's, any types of wins in life, it comes down to how we, meaning me, the person, how we deal with some of the things that are going to happen to us. Now, here's the thing. Attitude affects everybody around us too, right? So we have to watch this. I always tell my mom, you got to watch the RBF, Patty. The RBF sometimes with my mom is over, like off the chart. And I'm always like, gosh, your body language, your face. She goes, Chris, I'm just trying to hear what they have to say. I'm like, no, well, if you're trying that hard, here's what I would do. Smile. When that person walks away, I'll tell you exactly what they say, because sometimes it comes across as like you're pissed off, you're angry, you're upset, you're whatever. That's our body language. Our body language says so much to people. Our expressions on our face say so much to people. Our work habits say so much to people. How we dress says things to people. Have you thought about that? How are you going to attack 2021? How are you going to go in this? Because I know that you and me and everybody that's listening to this, we think differently. Here's why. Because you came to this podcast and you were like, hey, what am I going to get from this Chris Cicchinelli guy? Well, here's the thing you're going to get from him. The thing I'm always going to tell you is the way that you have to go operate to be successful. Or taking certain things that I've done in the past and taking them from me and saying, okay, how do I apply them? Because here's what it is. What you are thinking about, you are bringing about. And what I mean by that is, if you're thinking about success, man, and you're willing to put the time in, you're willing to go uncomfortable or get the comfortability, you will bring that upon you. You will bring that with you. You will bring that forward. If you're thinking about, man, how I'm going to fail, the negative things that are in my life, I didn't get ahead because of this. I got a shitty relationship. I've got a shitty team. I've got a shitty business. Well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to bring around a bunch of what? Shit. It just is what it is, man. What you have to be thinking about all of the time is you have to be thinking about this. What is it that you most determines your attitude is your thoughts. That's what determines your attitude. And mindset matters. Too many people, worry about all these other circumstances are out there. People don't think that they need to control the other people, the other groups of people in their lives. And what they find themselves doing is trying to change so many people around them, but they don't do the one thing, and they don't change the way they react to the people around them. That's the biggest thing. I used to get so frustrated in my younger years of leadership and being like, oh my God, why don't these people see it the same way I do? And I would constantly try to feel like I had to sell them. I'm like, look, Chris, you just got to react differently to those people. In my older years, that's what I had to think to myself. I'm like, I'm not going to change somebody that doesn't want to be changed. What I'm going to have to do is change my viewpoints around how I interact with them, how much influence that they will have over me, all of the different things that some of us get caught up in. A mindset meets attitude, right? A positive mindset, positive attitude. Negative mindset, negative attitude. This isn't like rocket science, people. Because what we have to understand is most of the things that we think about in our lives come from our brain. The things that we see, we get processed up here. The things that we hear get processed up here. You don't see with your eyes nor hear with your ears. Seeing and hearing actually takes place in the mind. And that's what we have to remember. So if we can control our mind, we can control the things that we are focusing in on. That is the big piece. And too many people have this happen to them where they think what they see is reality. It's, okay, you're seeing that. You can either get angry over that reality or you can process that reality differently. Here's what I mean. Life is 10% of what happens to me and 98% how I react to it. This is the biggest piece that you see with people today. They will sit back and say, gosh, my life is terrible. Okay, great. If that's what you're going to tell yourself every day, your life is terrible. Oh my gosh. Okay, how are you going to react to it? Are you going to stand and sit in a pile of crap that you're not going to be able to pull yourself out of it? Or are you going to sit back and say, okay, my life, okay, I'm not happy where I am. How do I react to it? Okay, well, one, I got to figure out my destination. I got to figure out where I want to go. I want to figure out exactly what I want to try to get accomplished, because that's how you react to something. You react to it, or you just sit back and say, life happens to me. Nothing's going to work out for me. Nothing's going to get better. So you know what you do? You get in a pity party mode. You find somebody else that is in the same pity party part of their life, because my mom always says, like seems like, right? Water seeks its own level. People that are miserable find people that are miserable. And you know what happens? They continuously find a miserable life. You want more. You want to find people that want more. That's how it works. And we got to start as human beings, as business owners, we got to stop taking and the blame game and pointing the blame game at all these other people around us. Oh my gosh. My parents weren't successful, so I'm not going to be successful. My parents didn't give me a good enough life or give me a head start. And you know what? It's because of them. My dad, I talked about this the other day on Rise and Grind. Okay, because my dad, I didn't know my dad. Yeah, great. He was a sperm donor. Great. I was able to interact with him some parts of my life, but he was really never, ever around. So does that mean I'm going to be a shitty dad because he was a shitty dad? No. We got to break the cycle somewhere. The cycle's got to be broken. We as human beings need to break that. We got to stop blaming our friends. We got to stop blaming the physical conditions, our environment. You name it, we've got to take responsibility. We need to be victors, not victims. All of us need that because attitude matters. Attitude at what we do matters. John Maxwell gave a great quote. The greatest day in your life and mind is when we take total responsibility for our attitudes. That's the day we truly grow up. John Maxwell. That's important. When we take responsibilities. Developing a winning mindset means we take responsibilities. We take responsibilities for the things that are going on. Big thing too is this. Developing a winning attitude is changing our thoughts, man. Instead of everybody's out to screw us, everybody's out there to champion us. Because what we start looking for, we will find. I want to find people that are championing me. I want to find people that are, going to be, hey, I want to see you successful. Man, I used to read all this shit on Glassdoor. I used to read negative comments, and those are the ones that hurt you the most, right? So you stick with them the most, right? And so what happens is, instead of reading that and getting stuck, I was reading one or two bad comments amongst hundreds of positive ones. So my thought process is, why am I going to go look at those? Why am I going to give people that amount of time? I know elections are won 51-49. I'm not going to do that. Changing your association with things, right? Like when I would travel, I would be like, oh my gosh, this is, I got to leave my family. I got to go things. Instead, what I was changing my association with travel was not leaving my families, but how many families I was going to go help. How many families were going to be able to grow. How many families were going to be able to develop by the stuff that I was going to be able to bring to them. That's how you can change. That's developing a winning mindset. The other thing is this. Challenge everyone. There's a meaning and thoughtfulness in people in this world. I know you know that, right? I know that you're going to have things that are going to happen. You're going to have a sale that didn't go through. You're going to have an event that canceled on you. You're going to have somebody that's going to go out there and be a team member and talk behind your back. You're going to have a team leader or team person leave you. You're going to have rejection by your friends. You're not going to get invited to certain things. Oh, wow. Oh, is me. I know. All of these things happen. But I think you have to sit back and say, okay, how do I deal with it? Because what we have to understand is our minds are a powerful thing. And when you fill it full of positive thoughts, you can actually make change. I know you might not, something might happen, a party might cancel, an event might not go your way. Great. Okay, awesome. Change the way you look at it. Change the narrative. The positive stuff is, okay, it canceled. This gives me some more time to catch up on my business. It gives me more time to make some phone calls. It gives me some more time to catch up on some of the things that maybe are on my to-do list so I can get ahead in business. Instead, we bitch and moan about it was canceled. Okay, if that's what you're going to focus in on, those are going to take you to the negative thoughts. Think about the time you were able to get back. Hey, maybe you want to go out and maybe you didn't get to work out that morning. Maybe this gives you the opportunity to go work out. You got to look for the positives in that. That's going to be the big thing. How do we look for the positive? The other thing, too, to developing a winning attitude, a winning mindset, is you got to reaffirm yourself every day. We've got to make sure that we take time to congratulate what we're doing. We got to take time to congratulate ourselves. We got to take time to make sure that we're learning from our mistakes, right? And we can laugh about our mistakes. We can make sure we go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Okay, let's get better the next time. It's okay. This is how we do it. I challenge you all. I used to do an 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock with my sales team, I do this at nighttime. And the one thing I'd always start when I say, tell me one thing that was great for you today. What was one thing you got accomplished today? What was that one amazing thing that you did in the last 24 hours? How about we think like that? And you know what? Those are things we can kind of affirm to. And then what is that one amazing thing we're going to get done tomorrow? It's important. We've got to fill our minds with positive attitudes. We got to fill our minds with all these different beliefs. Like, I take action in my business. I take action with my family. I choose to move forward, and continue to develop every day. I want to be courageous. I'm living my vision. Those are affirmations that we need to tell ourselves. And I think that that's the big place for all of us as we're getting into a brand new year. How do we move in with that positivity? Because if you go in with a vision board, you go in with all this other stuff that you have, but you don't go in with the right, correct mindset or right, correct attitude, man, that will be a big hindrance for you for next year. Think about this. How about you change your mentality that I'm only going to think good thoughts about people? Yeah, you're going to have these, there's always going to be, people in your life that you're like, oh God, those people drive me crazy. But try not to let those thoughts enter your mind. Try not to talk about people. Try not to get involved in the garbage. I'm not saying everything has to be Pollyanna-ish, right? Like, I'm not saying that every activity that you do is, got to be like everything is rosy or whatever. I get it. We all can be taken down that path. But to keep a positive attitude and keep a winning mindset, why do you want garbage in? Because garbage in is garbage out. Y'all know that. My challenge for each and every person listening to this podcast is, why don't we tell more positive things about people than negative for 2021? Why can't we find the positives in them? Because the more we speak the positives in the world, the more optimistic the world becomes. The more optimistic that we become about the world. These are things that I think too many people go to the negative. Why can't we challenge each one of us to say, you know what, we're going to talk good about people. We might not agree with everything. Okay, great, fine. Find one thing. You might not agree, but she's wearing a nice blouse. You might not agree with her, but your hair looks really nice. It's easier to go to the negative. But here's the thing. Only that is affecting who? You. Because those negative things that you're putting out there, guess where they're coming back to? You. If you talk like a loser, you'll end up losing. I'm just going to tell you that. Too many people don't stop, they don't think, and then they act. And that's the problem. Next year, 2021, developing that winning mindset. Sit back. Let's speak positivity. Let's speak great things into the world. Let's make sure that you're putting yourself in that winning position. You're going to stop. You're going to make sure that you're thinking before you speak. And when you speak with acts of kindness. You speak to yourself that way. You speak to the people that way. You speak to your teams that way. And can I tell you, that's how we change the world. Remember, we don't sell anything but ourselves. And the secret is always and will always be you. Have a great day, everybody, and Happy New Year.